Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your boy MagMongoSlade. We're going to do the entirety of Smackdown from June 4th, 2021, in which this was probably the weakest Smackdown since Roman Reigns came back to the brand. This was a weak show. Okay, so Roman starts the show in typical Roman fashion, doing Roman things. He comes out putting pressure on the Usos, saying that, look, he's changed his position on the tag team title match. And that, I'm going to let this happen. He tells Jimmy, like, look, Jimmy, you say you're going to win? You better win. And then, after the Usos come out, Jay, Chief, dapped him up, Chief. And then Roman looked at Jimmy and said, acknowledge me. And then Jimmy's like, what? He's like, acknowledge me? And Jimmy was like, I already acknowledged you. I acknowledged you at Hell in a Cell last year when you choked me out. Remember that? And then Roman was kind of like, And then he talked about, 7-time tag team champions. It's coming, baby. And then Roman was like, all right, well, good luck. You better get the job done. The family's going to be watching. Bring me these titles. And then Jimmy was like, it's done, baby. It's done. Now, I'm not going to take any credit for this one. I'm going to be honest. Somebody did notice that Jimmy Uso is still wearing Uso gear, while Jay Uso is still wearing his right-hand man shirt. That's the little things. The little things matter. And I'm really glad that, other people can now bring to me these symbolic things after I talk enough about symbolism and minor details. I talk about minor, because there's not much to talk about otherwise. Other than this sucks or this is great. But this was an interesting thing. I said last week previously that Roman should want the tag team titles, but it's basically it's all about power with him. Now he's saying that now that he thinks the Usos are going to win the tag team championships, he's like, okay, cool. It was my idea all along. Bring me the titles, But when it wasn't in his control, he didn't want it to happen. So, now, we still got the Usos versus the Mysterios in a very good match. This was a good match. And the Mysterios win because Jimmy gets pinned by Dominic Mysterio. In this match, there was a really cool spot with the baseball slide outside the ring. And then Jay caught him on his shoulders. And then Samoan dropped him on top of the announce table. I was like, ooh, that one was good. That was a good spot. But the finish came from the Uso splash being countered and Jimmy being rolled up. Now, the referee was out of position. You could clearly see that Jimmy's arm was up, and the referee just simply made a mistake. Jimmy was pissed, obviously. And Roman was visibly upset. Roman was visibly angry. And Jay Uso was like, damn, how are we going to explain this one to Roman? And he told me to bring them belts back and it ain't happened yet. So Roman, of course, sicked Heyman to go retrieve these two rapscallions, these two rogues who dare make mistakes. Jimmy tried to explain, and then Roman just cut right into him and was like, look, man, I ain't trying to hear that. You two lost to a child. You two 6-time tag team champions. You only made WrestleMania once. I was like, wow. Wow. On both counts. Wow. Then he says that, in 1 year, Jay, hanging out with the head of the table, walked out of the main event of WrestleMania with his chin up, his head held high. A star. And look at him now. And then he looks over and he's like, Jimmy. And then Jay was like, I'm Jay. And then Roman just kind of looked and was like, and laughed. He was like, doesn't matter. This is the best thing on the show. That blatant disrespect of Jay was the best thing on this show. That was excellent. Because it was so well done, right? It was so well done that Roman is basically like, you falling off, Jay. You was under my wing. You was good. This is what happens when you hang out with Jimmy. You become Jimmy. There's no difference between the two of you. But of course, he told them they need to fix this at once. They need to go talk to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville and get this fixed. Which, of course, they do. They go to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville and whine and demand that a rematch for the tag team championship. Roman said they had to fix it tonight, though. So they couldn't put the match off. So Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, they say, well, we'll discuss it. We'll review the video and we'll talk about it. So, of course, this is shenanigans, right? You got to call shenanigans on this. So the Mysterios on the way out the door. They've already got their stuff packed, and then they get stopped and they get told, oh, yeah, you guys, well, the referee made a mistake, so we're going to restart the match. And the Mysterios are like, okay? But, hey, Roman wants Roman gets. So we got to start the match all over again. And look, this is complete shenanigans. For starters, everybody has been complaining, myself included, by the amount of rematches WWE has been having. And now they go to the nth degree and have the same match on the same show twice. I cannot, that boggles the mind of why they would do that. Why you would book that story to go that way. You did not have to do that, right? You could have just had the Usos lose. And then, the next week, they do all of this stuff all over again. But because WWE is WWE, we do the Usos versus the Mysterios again. Of course, it's not fair. How many times have guys been screwed by referees? They didn't get immediate rematches. I mean, the referees blew the call, but you get to play the whole game all over again. No. That makes no fucking sense. Come on, man. This angle was going really well too, up until this point. So then the Mysterios have sort of the upper hand on the Usos, and then Roman comes in with a Superman punch, gets the Usos disqualified, which of course throws if there wasn't a wet blanket on this shit already, that made it even worse. So now that you took this storyline, which had a very interesting twist, with the Usos losing. Now we're like, okay, Roman put all this pressure on Jay and then kind of mocked Jay and Jimmy to a lesser degree. What could happen next? That's a great hook. And now they're like, okay, well, we're just going to have Roman throw the match out. So now the match that they spent all night building ends in a fucking disqualification. This is not Booker of the Year stuff. This is significantly less than Booker of the Year stuff. In any event, Roman beats the shit out of the Mysterios. I'm talking beats them with the steel steps and is just going ape shit on the Mysterios. And eventually Jay is like, not Jay, but Jimmy is like, dude, that's enough. Like, that's enough. We're like, no more. We're done. That's it. That's all. There's no more. And Roman kind of looked at him like, what are you talking to? And Jimmy was like, I'm not about this. No, I'm not about to do this. I'm out of here. So he leaves the ring, and then Roman's like, oh, whatever. And he goes back to beating up on Dominic after he launched Ray into the Thunderdome area. So Roman has beat the shit out of the Mysterios, and Jimmy doesn't approve. Jay is standing there watching, but Jimmy doesn't approve. He doesn't want anything to do with this. So, of course, this leads to the story that who's going to be Roman's opponent for Hell in a Cell. We got three options. You got Dominic Mysterio, which is absolutely ridiculous and in no way believable. You've got Rey Mysterio, which is believable, and I wish that's the route they would go. That would be so much fun for it to be Rey and Roman. That would be fun as fuck. But then there's also Jimmy. The Jimmy Uso match. Which is less interesting to me than the Rey match. But it would be the good storyline match. But we don't have a lot of time on this left to build a number one contender for the Universal title. And they've been putting a lot of effort onto Jimmy Uso. So it's probably going to end up being Jimmy. He's probably, ultimately, this show to me, was supposed to break up the Usos, right? This was supposed to be the show where Jimmy, if I was booking it, this was what would have happened. Jimmy would have gotten pinned, just like he did. He got screwed. Except, maybe they go to the ring to talk about it, and Jimmy is pleading his case about how his shoulder was up and the referee made a mistake and all that shit. And then Roman's just like, I don't want to hear it. I told you to deliver the tag team titles. You didn't do it. Jay, do your thing. And then Jimmy is like, Jay ain't about to beat me up. That's my brother. That's my blood. He ain't about to do nothing to me. And Jimmy actually gets mad at Roman for telling him to do it. And now you got Jimmy and Roman face to face. And Jay is, thinking about it, considering it. And maybe even putting himself in position, like sliding behind Jimmy. And then Jimmy turns around and Jay got like his fist balled up behind him and catches him like in the act. And he's like, oh, it's like that. It's like that. And then he tries probably, he throws a punch at Roman or something like that and forces Jay to beat him up. So now because he turned on Roman, Jay has to beat him up. And that would have been a lot more sense to me that this was the episode to break up the Usos. When I came into this episode, that's what I expected to see. I expected to see this to be the episode that breaks up the Usos. I got screwed out of that. Not, could the Usos have won the tag team titles and I would have been okay with that? Yes, I would have been fine with that. I'm not fine with them losing twice in the same show. That's stupid. I am not okay with that. That's dumb. All right? This is stupid fucking booking. And I don't know what else to say. It's stupid. Look, okay, Roman is so controlling. He wants to be the only champion. I get that. But you could have found another way to get to that point. You could have had Roman distract Jay. You could have had Roman pull Jay away. You could have had Roman do something like fake that he was attacked in the back. And he comes out holding his shoulder and Jay's like, what happened? And he comes running down to see what happened to Roman. And he turns his back on Jay and Jay gets rolled up and pinned. I mean, they do 100 fucking distraction roll-ups a show anyway. And because Jay turned his back on Jimmy lost. And then Roman turns around, he's perfectly fine. He's like, dude, what did you do? You just left Jimmy. What are you doing? Like that could have done 100 different ways. But the way they chose to do it was one of the worst possible options. Oh yeah, we're gonna have Jimmy lose. Okay, cool. But we're gonna run the match right back, and then end the match in disqualification. What the fuck? Now what? Like, now what? Do we have to have this match for a third time? It went from being the first time the Usos and Rey Mysterio had ever been in the same ring against each other. Then they doubled it back 2 times. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Man, boy, oh God, WWE, man, they make it really hard. They fucking suck. I swear they do. And the rest of the show wasn't much better. Seth Rollins didn't want to answer any questions about Cesaro returning. That was a waste of everybody's time. He had nothing to say. And it wasn't really even a good character moment of him just taking off his microphone and handing it to Kayla. It just seemed unnecessary. Like, we didn't need this at all, the Seth Rollins thing. Now, I did enjoy the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. I did like that. So the Street Profits come in, they're talking whatever about the Street Profits talking about. And Gable comes in talking, wants to advise the Street Profits. And he says that he's been studying them and analyzing their game. And he says the profits are down, baby. Profits are down. He says that, Montez has lost 6 inches off of that frog splash. And, the Sky High is more of a medium ground. And he says that you need professional management. Can I get the smoke, baby? And they were like, no. That's going to be a hard no, fam. So this pisses off Otis. Comes back there and he's, snorting like a wild boar. And he's telling these guys they got to apologize to Gable. He was just trying to help. And they were like, no. As a matter of fact, why are you standing here, Mr. Otis? I think, this is Montez Ford talking, I think that Chad Gable is holding you back. What have you accomplished since Chad Gable has been hanging out with you? What have you accomplished? And Otis just kind of thought about it. And then he smacked the shit out of Montez Ford and then bulldozed D'Angelo Dawkins into a box. Oh, this is fantastic. Otis is a one-man wrecking crew. I believe that. He's very small. He's very compact. You get a boar moving, man. They're 800-pound tanks. And he's a power lifter. He sucker punched Montez Ford, who didn't see it coming. So it makes sense why he would go down and then be out for a while. And again, he's a power lifter, so he's stronger than D'Angelo Dawkins. So he can shove him back and basically rammed him into a box. And that was enough to tighten the Street Profits up. So now they're kind of pissed. They're kind of upset. They got embarrassed. And basically said they want the smoke. They want to fight the Alpha Academy. And they did a good job here. This was actually a good job they did. They did 4 segments of the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy to build to a match that's going to take place the next week. Excellent stuff. And it's for a good reason. Chad Gable is trying to branch out the Alpha Academy, trying to bring in more people, and he gets snubbed. Otis takes offense, goes to say, you guys need to apologize. He still thinks he's a good guy, right? Chad Gable's just trying to help you. Chad Gable's obviously full of shit. But Otis doesn't think he's full of shit. So now we're at the position where Otis still thinks that they're good guys. Even though Otis has turned heel and done horrible heel things, he's only done things that Chad Gable told him to do. He's a simpleton. We already know that that's part of Otis's character, that he's a simpleton. And he was a simpleton when he was dating Mandy Rose. He was a simpleton in Heavy Machinery when he got tricked by the Miz. That being like almost a Forrest Gump type of characterization in Otis. So it stands to reason that Otis still thinks he's a good guy. He's thinking that they're not doing anything wrong. He's just trying to help you guys. And you guys disrespecting him, you should apologize. And I'm sure you're like, no, we're higher IQ guys than you. You're an idiot. Let me tell you that on your own, you won Money in the Bank. With Chad Gable, you lose all the time. And you're not on TV. And he didn't like that. The truth hit him. He didn't really like it. So he kicked their asses. And it's completely believable. Because, we know that Otis is a power lifter and he's very strong. So, cool. Simple. Very simple. It didn't require camera magic, fireballs, dolls, or guitars, or trombones, or dancing of any kind, right? And even to that point, the Street Profits, which are usually a very animated team, were substantially less animated in these segments. Got to give them credit for these. These segments were good. These segments were very good. So then the second match on the show was Carmella versus Liv Morgan. Carmella's new gimmick is being called Beautiful. And her opening promo is basically talking about she likes that people are watching her and she knows that she's hot and she kind of likes that we are all watching her and knows that she's hot. And then we get a really cringe Liv Morgan promo. Really cringe. Where she called Carmella a 7 at best. And said that the Liv Morgan makeover of a boot to the face will make her a perfect 10. Carmella then goes on to win the match with the code of silence, and Liv Morgan taps out. And she makes Greg Hamilton announce her as the most beautiful woman in WWE. So, Liv Morgan, boy, I was wondering what she was going to do without Ruby Riott, and I thought maybe they was going to give her a pity win here, because everybody had been so upset about Liv. being left by herself and all the other members of the Riot Squad being booted out. But not so much. Second generation superstar Carmella, and that is true, by the way. That's a fact. Beat Liv Morgan. hey, hey, man. I don't know, man. Who has the bigger future, Carmella or Liv Morgan? I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but Liv Morgan's promo was cringe. I can tell you that much. That much was true. It was cringe as fuck. All right, so the next segment was Bianca Belair and Bayley. Oh boy, it was so awkward. Here's the thing: to Bianca Belair is trying to be inspirational, so she goes out there to talk about being laughed at. And she's been getting laughed at her whole life, and Bayley is pressed. And when she throws in the slang, it just throws me off. Girl, girl, why are you so pressed? Anyway, and she talked about Bayley's laugh is getting to her, so she admitted to being sort of, insensitive, or insensitive, sort of sensitive to the being laughed at, because she used to get made fun of for being muscular, for being different. People saying that she was overconfident. But she left all her haters in the dust, and that she's been dealing with teasers and bullies, but being laughed at in her face is utter disrespect, which she will not tolerate. So she says, Bayley, I want to fight you at Hell in a Cell. What's up? What it do? What it is? And I thought for her part it was too long. But they were trying to get over the ham-fisted inspirational shit. They were trying to get that out of there. Look, sometimes the promo doesn't need to be live, right? You could have shortened this by doing it in a video package and just had Bianca Belair say, people laughed at me all the time. They laughed at the way I looked. They laughed at, this and that and the third. And I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm a grown-ass woman. You're not laughing at me. You're not mocking me anymore. So if you think it's funny, what was Sonya Deville's thing? Put your hair up and square up. That's pretty much what she said here. And then Bayley, being the villain, in another ham-fisted way, was basically like, hey, I've been laughing at people my whole life. I laugh at people. I've been laughing at people like you my whole life. And she was in her Oasis, which features pictures of herself on the wall, which makes perfect sense of, Bayley, of her character. It's pictures of herself all over the wall with the Smackdown women's title. And it's Bayley 2 belts, which she used to be. And it's a perfect symbolism of how Bayley is devolving, right? That the Bayley character has went from being her supreme self to now being a more devolved, almost crazed self. Like even Bayley, how she looks, like her hair is wilder, the cackle, the witch laugh that she's kind of developed. It was good symbolism. It was good archetypal stuff. Like I talked about it last week with Seth Rollins, right? Or was it 2 weeks ago? Where I talked about Seth Rollins is a narcissist in which he cannot handle being criticized and or humiliated and or embarrassed. Bayley is the exact same way, which is, problematic. You have the same character on the show, but it's the same character, female position. Bayley is obsessed with herself and obsessed with her own success. She, sees herself as she used to be and thinks that that's how she is now. But really, she's just cracking up. She's really losing it. And the laugh is just part of how it went from when she was Bayley 2 belts. She was laughing at everybody. And because she was really superior and she was really on top. But now she's just laughing because she's a nut. And the character is starting to slip. Much like the Seth Rollins character. And it's crazy because they're the same archetype. What we call the magician, right? The role model and the Messiah are essentially the same character. just different versions of the same character. Like I said before, Seth Rollins used to be a savior. He was a messiah. Now he's basically a politician. Bayley is like the big sister, right? She went from, and the entire point of it is that they're a person of influence, but they misuse their influence. Bayley could have been a role model if she wasn't so selfish, if she wasn't such a manipulator, if she wasn't such a liar, if she wasn't such a backstabber. She would be an individual that people could look up to. But because she is a backstabber, a liar, and conceited and all this stuff, she will never be a role model. But she still sees herself as she was. She still sees herself as Bayley Two Belts, and the room that she was in, a shrine to herself, this idolatry that she has put up on this wall here, has gone, and it shows the devolution of the Bayley character. So I think that's fucking cool. And then they did the whole wall of Baileys with the laughing wall of Baileys. Then they did that shit. And I was like, brother, I was straight up Jimmy Snooker on that one, dog. Brother, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I'm lost. Okay, I'm lost, brother. When did she get magic powers? Of course, you could just say it was production with Bayley, right? It didn't have to be magic. It could just be, the production people put her picture everywhere. It was creepy. It was very creepy. It was very weird. And Bianca Belair did a good job of selling it, of being unnerved by it. Because she put the title up that, baby faces always do, show the belt and show what you're fighting for. And then, all these pictures of Bayley start to show up on the wall, and, she's laughing and cackling. And when they go back to her actually on the screen, she's coming unglued. It's haunting in a way. And I think that's the point. The point is she's haunting Bianca Belair. She won't leave her alone. Won't let her go. And it's unnerving. It's almost like she's stalking Bianca Belair. This was mostly cringe, but I did like the segment overall. I think overall the segment was fine. I think they tried too hard here, and we need to do something. We need to get the fuck out this Thunderdome, that's for sure. Because the Thunderdome is doing nothing but incentivizing silliness. It's incentivizing people to do comedic shit and for them to do magic, production tricks. Get these people in front of a crowd, please. Get them in front of a crowd, please. But I think I liked the symbolism of Bayley's character. Some of the dialogue was ham-fisted, though. I will say that. So I got to take off points for the ham-fisted messages in the promo. I wasn't a fan of that. Also got to take off a huge number of points for King Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura, which was absolute basura. Okay, it was absolute basura. Mainly because it was almost exactly the same as it was a couple of weeks ago. Nakamura comes out with the crown. Corbin wins via roll-up. Boogs distracts Corbin. Nakamura takes the crown. I mean, literally nothing changed. Status quo. Rick Boogs comes out. I'm Rick Boogs. And it's like, yeah. I remember when we were so excited about this, that this was going to be fun, and it turns into shit. Everybody thought this was going to be a fun storyline. It turned into absolute dog shit. It's just two guys fighting over a crown in an uncool way. They're just having the same fucking match 100 fucking times. I thought at least they were going to switch it up and make Boogs wrestle. That would at least been interesting. It's just been Nakamura and fucking Corbin for 3 weeks straight. Maybe even a month straight by now. This is a pain in the fucking ass. I can tell you that now. This made SmackDown feel like a fucking rerun. This is horrible. Commander Aziz, he honors his ancestors by attacking Kevin Owens before the match and hitting him with the Nigerian nail and beating up Kevin Owens before the match. So this led to the Intercontinental Championship match, Apollo Crews versus Kevin Owens, where Apollo Crews worked the midsection and they won a match with a Samoan drop, or a Death Valley driver rather, on a ring apron. And he rolled him into the ring and pinned him. Oh my goodness, somebody actually got pinned from a ring apron move. So well done. So well done. They've taken a lot of steam out of Apollo Crews. It's the part of it is the accent. Part of it is now this new reliance on Commander Aziz. He was so aggressive before, and the change in his character to now being far more comedic and cartoonish is not welcome. I still like Apollo Crews, but they've taken a lot of the steam out of it. They basically turned him into a cartoon character. Now he is all, me and my ancestors, you go to Intercontinental Championship. And it's like, what happened to who he was before? You know, when he was being disrespected by Big E and they had this the intensity between the two of them. He's like, you don't disrespect me. You're like, who are you talking to like that? Go back to catering. What do you mean? And then he smacked him at one point. What happened to that Apollo Crews? He was confrontational. You show him the steel. What happened to that Apollo Crews? This was just a couple weeks ago. Now it's all, Commander Aziz with the Nigerian nail. It's like, he's fucking Skeletor, just like everybody else now. It's the shits. It's the shits. Then somebody sit him down and say, look, you're too much of a real nigga. We need you to go out there and be like something out of the Thundercats in 1986. Like, this is some bullshit. You were good as you were. Now you got the belt, and they're going to turn you into a fucking cartoon character. You know, it's bad. But I'm still a big fan of Apollo Crews. I think he's doing a great job, especially in the ring. He's always a guy who was a good wrestler. He just needed a personality. Now he has a personality. I just don't like the accent. I don't like the characterization. Commander Aziz is fine, though. I just wish they didn't rely on him so much. And now it's to the point where they're almost putting him over and not so much putting over Apollo Crews. So that was Smackdown. There was nothing else really to talk about. So, you know, Smackdown was, this was the worst Smackdown they've had in a while. But there's still some really good developments that took place, some really good character progression that happened. And it was interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.